everyone, Chocolo here, but not for a video review, as you can probably see already. It's a tier list, yes, a tier list. But what's a tier list to start with? Well, basically, it's where we sort of tier a list of items. So we basically have a sort of set list of something, and we order it into a tier, essentially, into different tiers, basically. In this case, it's Cadbury's chocolate bars. So there's some caveats to that, which I'll come to in a bit. But basically, yeah, it's what we're going to do is going to grab chocolate bars, and we're going to put them into one of these tiers: S, A, B, C, or D. Now, I know you're thinking probably, what on earth's S about? You know, it's why is not A just be A, B, C, D, or whatever? Well, it's kind of I think it kind of derives from sort of computer game scores, basically, where, you know, they weren't content with having A ranks and things like this, and then they just went to S after that. So S, I think, stands for sort of super, I think, or something along those lines. But if you play some, I don't know, some video games, whatever, you'll find if you ranked at the end of the level, sometimes, you know, it'll go bronze, silver, and gold, and then they'll have a diamond rank after that, or a platinum rank rather, probably. You know, things like this, or in platinum and diamond, you know. So, but in the case of letter scores, it's usually there's an S above the A, basically. So you think you've done quite well getting an A, but then there's always an S rank above it, so it's actually not as good as you'd think. So there we go. That's the gist of it. So S is the best, basically. So S is the best. Yeah, so we've got a load of bars here. So these are Cadbury's bars. So I said there were some caveats. Caveats being there's loads of Cadbury's chocolate out there, really. Now, Cadbury's website was pretty terrible, actually, for finding what they actually have. They have a products page, but there's only about 5 things in it. You know, it's pretty terrible, really. So basically, I went onto Wikipedia and got them from there, basically. And they had them different categories. They had like bars, packs or bags, and I think actually blocks. Yes, they had bars, blocks, and bags, boxes, and rolls. I think, and bags, boxes, and rolls are in one category. And yeah, and this is also just purely UK stuff as well. So it's not even got the Ireland stuff in. I did consider putting it in. I thought, you know what, no, I'll be strict, because it's just where do you draw the line, and there's enough here as it is. You can see there's how many products? 7, 14, 20 products, I think. Is that right? It's 20 here. Is that right? Is there more? No, there's more than that. 8, 16. Yeah, there's 8, 16. Yeah, wow, it's 23. Yeah, so quite a lot. So there'll be quite some barrage going on here, some tierage. So yes, there'll be plenty to keep us going. So yeah, so basically, now there is one exception. I did mention packs, bags, and things like this. We do have the Cadbury's buttons here now. Basically, if I did the giant buttons or whatever, you know, they would be in a bag or whatever, I guess, for sure. But these are the small, I think it says 25p on that pack down there. These are the small ones you can just have, basically, as a mini pack, you know. So there are like caveats where some of them appear in packs and things like this, but these are just the ones that are in the bar. And I think this is the current state of play in the UK. I could have missed some out. I'm not sure. Apologies if I have. There's quite a lot of them out there, and Cadbury's website, as I say, was pretty rubbish and relying on Wikipedia, essentially. So yeah, so there could be some I've missed out, but long story short is I think I've got most of them in, really, most of the important ones anyway. I hope anyway. So well, let me know in the comments if I've if I have missed one out, or in the chat as well, of course. And yeah, by the way, this will be a premiere, of course. So yes, hello to everyone in the chat. Good to see you all. Good to see you all. I'll be there chatting with you, of course. Yeah, so it could be a long one, this one, is the gist of it. I think prepare yourself for a bit of a longer one. I think the first one was like an hour or something, and the other one was for 40 minutes. This one will probably be more on the hour scale, I reckon. But who knows? We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. So I think what we'll do is we'll start from the top. Well, we won't start from the top, actually. We'll start from the middle. I think we'll start with the dairy milk. I think that's probably a good benchmark, really. Because what we've got to say, we've got A rank, B rank, C rank, D rank, and then the S rank for sort of super special ones. Now, try and discuss it. Now, of course, these are all relative to Cadbury, maybe, so these are sort of as far as Cadbury goes. I'll try and explain it as I go on. Maybe it might say, well, this one's an A rank as far as Cadbury's concerned, but, you know, it might not be as far as the whole world's concerned. But I think I'll probably just go, not as far as Cadbury's is concerned, but as far as chocolate everywhere is concerned. So I'm comparing it with other chocolate as well. It's not just how it rates insofar as Cadbury's concerned, but it's how it rates as a whole. So, yeah. So, basically, if I say something's an S rank bar, that means it is S rank as far as everything is concerned, not just Cadbury, is the gist of it. And I think that's fair enough, because I think otherwise you can sort of, I think it loses its value if you're not comparing it to other things. So there we go, yeah. Okay. Right, so that's, right, so dairy milk, the first one. Yes, dairy milk, yeah. So, okay, well, what's that? I mean, the dairy milk, you know, really nice, I'll put it on the far left, why not? Really nice chocolate bar dairy milk. It's not on the far left there, is it? Honestly, there we go, right. There, go there, okay. Dear God. Yeah, so the Cabbage Dairy Milk, basically their sort of staple chocolate. I guess there's Bourneville down there in the bottom right. You can see is Bourneville down there. But I think Dairy Milk's mainly the main one, really. At least these days, anyway. Very nice velvety chocolate. Really lovely it is actually as well. It's yeah, really really nice chocolate. Definitely one of my favourite chocolates. I really do enjoy it. It's really nice. It has a lovely sort of velvety taste, I think you'd say, really. I always like it, and it's no, don't generally buy it in a block in itself, but it's really good when you have it in a chocolate selection like Roses or Heroes. I mean, it just helps break it up. It's a bit of a palate cleanser, and it is really nice, as I say. Usually comes in different flavours. I usually get the ones where it comes in a special flavour or something, or has some special ingredient like I don't know, like the Neapolitan one that came out lately. That seems to be one I mainly have. But when I was younger, they brought out massive kilogram bars, and that was really nice. Just a massive kilogram bar of dairy milk in there. I think they still do them, but you don't see. I think the novelty's not. Well, I think they're probably not banned, but frowned upon probably by the by just society in general because they're so unhealthy. But there we go. Yeah. So what was this one? I think this one's really good actually. I think as a benchmark, it's probably quite a high benchmark actually. I think, but we need to put this one in so we can know where things are. I don't think it's going to blow your socks off or anything like that, but I think it is definitely. I think it's definitely an A rank one. The dairy milk. It's really nice. Could be going a bit higher that really, but as I say, if you don't put it there, you're comparing it to Cadbury's products then, aren't you, really? And I don't think that's what we want to do. We're comparing these as a whole. Could argue it's a B, as I say, but I think it's a bit better than just sort of the middle of the road. I think it definitely is above average. I do, if you're marking this out of 5, technically, whereas a 5 out of 5 is the S. I guess that's kind of what we're doing, really, isn't it? But yeah, I think definitely. I mean, it's a bit of a difficult one, isn't it? It was a kind of, as I say, are we, ranking Cadbury's bars? But I think we are doing them as a whole. I think it'd be impossible to sort of say, well, they're all terrible, but this one's the best of the worst, and then give it an S. I think really we are rating them as chocolate bars as a whole. So yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. Just sort of talking myself around there, really, whether I think it was the right thing to do, but I think it is. So yeah, so definitely an A rank for the Cadbury's dairy milk there. Now I've got the flake as well. Now the flakes are very nice. Flake, for those, it's like a thin, well, I don't know if it's layered quite, but it's like a sort of very thin, brittle bar of I don't know if it's dairy. I think it's dairy milk chocolate, but Cadbury's chocolate at least. Anyway, very nice it is, and you need a plate with it really because it just goes everywhere. Yeah, what was the old slogan? Only the crumbliest, flakiest chocolate. Tastes like top chocolate ever tasted so good, or something like that. I'm not sure what it was, but that was the old one. I used to have sort of like some model in a bath or something. That was the old adverts. Yeah, I don't think they still do those anymore. I don't really see many adverts nowadays, but yeah, this one. So I think, well, to be honest with you, it's definitely not. I don't think it's below a dairy milk for sure. I really like it. It's a bit crumbly and messy. It is a nice experience to have it though. When you have one, it's a very nice experience, I have to say. Just the textures of all the really crumble. I mean, it's annoying when it crumbles apart. It makes it difficult to eat it really. You can't get bits off the plate and things. But it's a nice experience. It's definitely different. I'm not sure. It's very close to an S rank. I don't know if I can quite give it an S rank. On another day, I might. On another day, I might give it an S rank. It is a very nice bar, though. It's very nice, has to be said. I mean, there's a few, yeah, it is very nice. We'll put it in A rank for the moment, I think. We'll see. It could go up. It could go up, is the gist of it. I might, when I go through the others, I think, yeah, you know what, should be higher. But I'm not sure. I think it's probably higher than a dairy milk, I think. But it is really nice. Yeah. We'll see how that goes. Now I've got the chomp here. The chomp now, I think it says 25p on this or 20p. Depends how new this picture is. But basically, when it was 10p when I was younger, 10p chocolate bar, really sort of cheap one. It's basically caramel with a covering of chocolate. Not really. It's like a chewy caramel. It's okay. It's not really one of Cadbury's best products though for me. It's definitely it's just a cheap bar of chewy caramel. It's not bad. I mean, but you never really got your way to buy it. I don't think. Can't believe it's 20p. Can't believe it's 20p really. I mean, as I say, used to be, well, does it say, yeah, or 30p does it even say? I'm not even sure what it says there, but well, anyway, I think 10p is about right, but yeah, I think for me it is. I think this one's basically it's a C or a D. I think. I don't think it's just a sort of very cheap, almost pick and mix style chocolate really, but it's not that great. I rarely think you'd ever get. I mean, it's only kids I think would buy it because they just don't have that much money. I don't think anyone would ever really buy it. I've never certainly bought it. Yeah, recently. I mean, I think it's probably a D for the Chomp. I mean, it's just not that great a product. It is a cheap Cadbury's bar that's made for kids. Really, it's not that great. Right, so now I've got the Dairy Milk whole nuts. So this one basically has got whole hazelnuts in. Now, if you love hazelnuts, of course, and you love Dairy Milk, then of course this one's for you. But for me, I only love Dairy Milk. I don't like whole hazelnuts at all. They're too much for me, really. I can get it. I understand what people like about this, because obviously it's hazelnuts and it's whole hazelnuts. But if it's chopped ones, I might be able to cope. But whole hazelnuts are just too much. I'm not a big fan of nuts generally, and whole hazelnuts are just too much. Just too much. So I think for me, is it a D? Because I'm just not that big a fan of it. I think I'm probably going to say a D. I can appreciate it, so maybe I could put it in a C because I can appreciate it. Because obviously, if those who are like whole nuts or whatever are going to enjoy it, but yeah, I don't know. I think for me, it's So this isn't necessarily 1 out of 5, by the way. The D is not 1 out of 5. This is actually tier. So I said before, is it kind of out of 5? It's not, because I don't think I'd ever give any of these 1 out of 5. But yeah, I think this one I'm gonna say a D. Really, it's just not that great. It's not for me. It's for people who like nuts. I'm gonna be just frank with it. No, sometimes I give things a benefit of the doubt and say, you know what, fine. Other people like it, but yeah, it's not for me at all. That it's just they're just too much. I'm just not a big fan of whole hazelnuts at all. Now I got the Cabbage Boost here, and this one used to come with Guyana or something, was it? Before that was that band or something, some energy thing, I don't know. Yeah, the protein bars of these now as well. Boost, not too bad actually. It's basically a sort of weird creamy. It's like a chewy centre. It's like a weird centre, surrounded with caramel and then covered in chocolate. But the centre's kind of like quite thick. Caramel's quite chewy. It's a weird bar. It's very distinct. I think they call it Morrow, I think, in Australia. I think you have Boost as well. Maybe Ireland as well. Yeah, it's a very I don't know. It's an odd one. I don't dislike it actually, but it's quite a lot of calories in it from what I remember as well. It's very sort of all in, if you know what I mean. It's an okay one. It's okay. I mean, I don't dislike it. Just trying to think what would really constitute. Yeah. I think it's probably a B or a C for me, this one. I mean, it's quite difficult actually, this one, because I'm thinking, am I ever going to... Yeah. I think I'm probably going to put it in the B for that one, I think. It's okay. It's all right. It's just a bit sort of... It's quite intense. It's quite thick. It's not bad, but it's quite sweet as well. It's got quite a sweet taste to it. Sometimes could say it's a bit too sweet, really. Sometimes I found it's a bit of an odd one. It is a bit of an odd one, but it's interesting. But it's unique as well. There's not really any other bars like it, really. Other than another Cadbury one, which we'll come to in a bit. But interesting one. Yeah. Okay, now I've got the Fredo Bar. This is another cheap. I think it was 10p. This might be 20-30p now. So I'm sure it was 10p when I was younger. Well, it wasn't because it wasn't out. It was Taz when I was younger. Actually, I used to have the license for Looney Tunes, Tasmanian Devil, and they were called Taz's. But obviously, when they lost that license or whatever, or it became irrelevant, which might be the case, you don't really see the Tasmanian Devil anymore. You replace it with Fredo, their own rubbishy mascot. I don't really know what it is really, but it's frog anyway. So it's basically just a sort of bit of dairy milk, really. I think it's dairy milk anyway. Very small version of it. It's quite a cheap one. It's not too bad. It doesn't blow your socks off, really, is the gist of it. It's kind of, even though it is perhaps dairy milk or whatever, I don't know if it's labelled as dairy milk. I think it might be actually, mightn't it? Yeah, it's okay. It's a little block of dairy milk. It's not too bad. I mean, you could argue that it should be on an A grade with that, but I think it's just the fact it's quite small and it's okay, but you never really buy it. I think you'd rather just get a dairy milk, really. So I think for me, for that reason, it's going to be a C. So it's not too bad, but yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just not really much of anything, you know what I mean? It's just a bit of dairy milk, but you may as well just have a dairy milk, basically. So there we go. Yeah, so there we are. Now I've got the Twirl. Yes, the Twirl, and I do like the Twirl. Very nice, a bit like a flake. I think there is a slight difference, but there's not much of one. It's I think the flake is generally really flaky, and the Twirl is and the Twirl is kind of similar, but it's covered in chocolate. It's a 2-fingered bar. The flake is just a one long thin finger. Twirl is a 2-fingered bar. and it's kind of like a bit like a flake but covered in chocolate. I think there are slight differences. I don't think they're quite the same, or at least the result doesn't end up being the same, whether it was when the chocolate's poured on. I'm not sure. I do like a twirl. It's very nice. It's very similar to a flake, really. Yeah, very similar. Very similar. Difficult one. Not sure what to make. I mean, it's almost an S1 again, really, but I think it's probably an A. I think it's just a lovely taste. Yeah, really nice. Yeah, do enjoy it a lot. Very nice indeed. Yeah, it's just basically where it's not that dissimilar than the dairy milk, you know what I mean? But the texture's quite nice. That and the flake are really nice. They possibly could be up on the S tier. It depends how things go. I might decide, oh, you know what? They are a cut above as we go along. Difficult one. We'll have to think about this. It's difficult. As I say. But I mean, what is an S tier really? Well, we'll come along to that. We might see. Well, speaking of which, the Whisper Gold here. I think you know what I mean. This might be, if there's going to be one that goes up there, I think this might be it. It's basically sort of aerated chocolate. I don't think it's dairy milk chocolate, but it's a very nice chocolate and very velvety. It smells gorgeous as well. Yeah, lovely. Got a layer of caramel in it as well. Really nice. Yeah, lovely chocolate bar. I used to prefer the regular Whisper to this one, but I think nowadays I do prefer, the Whisper Gold basically, just because that caramel layer really adds to it. And there was a few other Whispers back in the day. Whisper Bite, Whisper Mint. I think I'll bring out another Whisper. Someone's mentioned a hazelnut one. I'm not a bit dubious about that one. We'll see. People are quite excited about it, but if it's like hazelnut cream, that'd be okay. But I don't know. I'm a bit worried that it'll be I don't know, chopped hazelnuts or just I don't know. I'm not too sure. If it has like a layer of hazelnut, like hazelnut spread or whatever, as in chocolate hazelnut spread instead of the caramel, I think that'd be quite interesting. Actually, that'd be quite interesting. So we'll see. Yeah, see the flake looks like it's coming off the screen, off the image there, which is quite interesting. Yeah, so I think this one, yeah, really like it. Lovely caramel, as I say, lovely aerated chocolate. Really, it smells lovely, really velvety on the tongue. Caramel really helps it as well. So I used to prefer just the regular, unadulterated Whisper with just the chocolate, but I do prefer the Whisper Gold now, and I think that definitely is pretty much an S rank one. I think it's gone down a bit, recently, but I don't know. I think it's just something special about it, and I don't know if it's quite as special as I used to think it is. So maybe it is a bit, maybe it's not that much of a cut above the A's, but I do like it a lot. And I think from that one, basically the same bar except without the caramel as the Whisper, so I'll put that in the A rank. It's really nice, but I think I think it's just a bit sort of not quite as good now, as I say, as the Whisper Gold. So there we go. Yeah, not too bad though. Now the dairy milk Oreos. Here we go. So there was there are some other dairy milk products, but I think they're mainly in the bar or the block version rather. These are the bars, sort of bars anyway. Some of them are like the buttons aren't quite bars, but they are. I don't know. I fit them into this one because I thought, they just need. These are the standard bars basically. So that's what I kind of thought. Even though some of them aren't, as I say, buttons and things, standard products. Yeah, dairy milk Oreo. So this is basically one of those again. It's like a block, sort of like a segmented bar, a bit like the dairy milk. But well, exactly like the dairy milk really. But it's got like a cream centre with Oreo piece in there. These things are always told. The cream's always not very nice, too creamy. And the biscuits are just, the Oreo piece is not that good. The one that did work was the Oreo sandwich, I think it was called, something like that, which was really nice, where it was literally, I think it's just sort of small mini Oreos with a sort of block of dairy milk going through them, so then you had the sort of like top and the bottom of the Oreo above the block of chocolate. Yeah, really nice those ones were, because it was actually Oreos as well. They're only mini Oreos, but really nice. Whereas this one's just like this really horrible cream centre, just isn't very tasty. I'm not really a fan of these at all. None of these creamy ones taste that great. The Milka equivalents, the Ritter Sports do creamy ones as well. They're always just too much, So for this one for me, yeah, it's definitely a D. That one. It's probably the worst of a lot. That one. Now a double decker or decker double, if you turn it upside down, basically, still quite a big substantial bar. I'm sure they're smaller than they used to be, as is always the case. One half's like a nougat, chewy nougat topping, and the other half is like a biscuity Rice Krispie. I think it's quite chewy, but like centre as well. So you got these two halves, and it's really nice. Actually, I do really like it. So it's just something substantial about it. I don't think it quite tastes as good as you'd perhaps remember or think really, but I still really like it. I've still got a very strong place for it in my heart really, and do really like it a lot. And even though you could basically say it's perhaps not the best tasting chocolate bar in the world, there's something special about it that I really do like. You know, it's just different, or not really anything does it. And I like the decker double aspect to it. You can eat it upside down and things. It just adds a whole new layer to it, almost literally. So yeah, I think this one for me, I think it's an S1. Controversial, that one, I think. But it is something special about that one. I do like it a lot. Yeah. Very nice, the double decker. So just one of those, I think, sort of like perhaps my sort of, guilty pleasure, I guess, maybe. I know a lot of people are not, you might think it's a bit of a standard bar, but for me, I don't know, it's just something about it that I like. Experience and things like this. Now I've got the Dairy Milk Caramel here. Now, similar-ish to basically one we had before, really. The regular one. Difference here is actually it's got caramel in it. So it's basically like the Cadbury's caramel bar, really, but in Fredo form or whatever, or Taz as it used to be. I think the same difference goes, really. It's not too bad, but it's, I don't know, a bit sort of, you'd rather just have a Cadbury's caramel or whatever, or Dairy Milk caramel, whatever it's called now. I feel that's the problem with it, really. There's just better alternatives out there. You just never really go for it unless you're a kid. It's okay, but it's small. It's a bit of a small bar. It's actually quite small. So I think it's a C1, basically. Yeah, a bit of a C1 there. There we go. I've got the Dairy Milk Marvelous Creations as well. So it's got like marshmallow bits in, I think, and popping candy and stuff like that. It's gone under a few guys in the Marvelous Smashables, whatever, at one point. And there's a few in the range as well that disappeared over time. I think there's only this one left in the UK now, pretty much. Might be one other, I think, but yeah. Don't think there is. The Rocky Mallow Road was around for a while, but I think that stopped, didn't it, as well? Which was actually the best one. But yes, this one is not bad. Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's just a bit... It's not quite as exciting as you'd think, really, even though it's got more exciting things in it than all the others. Like it's got marshmallow pieces, jelly popping candy. It's just something that's not quite as interesting. But I don't know, it doesn't really just... a bit more of a gimmick than actually something that works. It's a bit of a shame. So I think for me, I think it's a B out of 5. B out of 5. That's one for the quotes. It's okay. It is pretty much, it's not as good as it sounds, basically, but it's not bad. It's got a bit of a different texture, a different taste, but I don't know. It's just doesn't quite do it for me, really. Yeah, so there we go. So now we mentioned before about the boost, not really having anything similar to it, but we've got the Star Bar, which is basically the same bar, but with peanuts in it. So it's one of those whether you like peanuts or not really. I think for me, I'm not a massive peanut fan, but I'm a bit more into them than I used to be, so I can have them in nuts and things like this. It's okay one. It's okay. I think it's just whether to mark it lower because of the peanut factor than the original boost. I guess technically yes. Because I'm not a bigger fan of peanuts, but I think it's not as, I don't think it's not like a Mars and a Snickers where I'm not a big fan of peanuts, as I say, but Snickers I can pretty much eat over a Mars actually, because it's just so, I like the chewiness of it. There's something about it, and the peanuts quite work with it. But the original bar in this one is quite chewy anyway. There's not really I don't think it has really that much to it, the Star Bar, by having peanuts. I mean, I did review it a while back as well, so it's been some time since I checked it out, but I don't know, I think, it's almost a B, but I think I'm just going to be a bit strict to say a C, really. It's okay, but it's just, I don't know, I'm just not, I'm not overly keen on the peanut side of it. I don't remember being too bothered about it, really. So, it's a bit like a tank, that's similar, doesn't it? One of these tanks from the old pixelated games, So now what do we have? Well, Dairy Milk Caramel, used to be Cadbury's Caramel, the Caramel Bunny. Interesting one, this one. I quite like it. I don't think I quite like it as much as I did do. As I say, I think a bit of a funny one, really. It is nice, though. It is very nice. I just think perhaps it's not quite as exciting as it used to be. Don't worry, it's got nice Cadbury's chocolate Dairy Milk, presumably, as well. It says Dairy Milk on it, so I think it's okay. You know what I mean? It's okay. I think for me, I just don't know if it's... well, I'll say it's okay. It's really nice, actually, but I don't know if it's... I think for me it's probably an A rank one as well, I think. It's just really nice. It's got lovely buttery caramel taste. I like the caramel in it. It is really nice. Could be up there the Whisper Gold, as I say. It's difficult, really, to say why it isn't. but it's just something about it makes it that little bit special, really. You know, yeah. You know, I'm just thinking whether the flake should be up on the S. I'm gonna do it. You know, I'm gonna move that S. I was mumming and I about it before. I think it is an S rank one, the flake. I think it is an S rank one. Yeah, it's just something novel about it. It's really nice and a lovely experience as well. I might prefer the Twirl as on a practical level and things, and it's got more about it. But the flake is just a bit more of an indulgence. I don't know. It's just something really, really interesting about having one. You know, and it's lovely chocolate bar, lovely and flaky. It's got the Twirl orange now. So yes, some of you might be wondering why there's no dairy milk orange on here. It's because basically that's in a block form. It's not in a small bar form, at least not yet anyway. So I've got the Twirl orange, of course. That is the new one. It's not the limited edition one. It's actually out now properly. It's got a full release. Interesting one. It's okay. I mean, I think it probably does improve on the Twirl, but whether it makes it that much better, I'm not too sure. I don't mind chocolate orange. I like sort of Terry's chocolate orange the most, really. I think this one is a bit more sort of mundane, I think you'd say. It's not quite up there with Terry's chocolate orange. It's just something not quite as... Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the Cabbage chocolate quite is as nice as Terry's chocolate orange to bump it up anything that much, really. So I think for me it's probably a nice bar, but I don't think it's really that much better than the original Twirl, is the gist of it. But it is better, I think. I think I do prefer the orange chocolate. I do like the gimmick of it and things like this. But, you know, I don't really feel like I've been missing out too much if I just had a regular Twirl. I don't think like, oh, you know, I'm really disappointed I've got this. I'd rather have the orange one. It's not that much of a cut above it, if you know what I mean. So yeah. So I think I'm going to still rate that an A. I think, yeah, this is just a bit. Yeah, so, Not Cabbage buttons now. Cabbage buttons, very basically just dairy milk chocolate, but in little button form. And you get giant buttons and things. And there's other flavoured buttons. You get like white chocolate ones and dark chocolate, Bourneville ones, I think, stuff like this. I say the giant ones, but these little ones are quite nice. You can double them up, make them, let's say, twice as big, a bit more of an experience. They are really nice, actually. I do really like them. I don't think they're blow your socks, so as I say, they're not too dissimilar to like the Fredo bars, where they're just something a bit smaller than ones that exist already. I mean, the buttons are so cute, though, and such a nice little pack of chocolate. And the little buttons work really well, the sort of consistency of them and things. Yeah, I do like those. I think they're better than, let's say, the Fredo ones. I think it's a C. I guess think A, B, C there. A B out of 5 again. So there we go. Yeah, yeah, definitely a B. I think that one. They're really nice. Those. They're really just interesting. You know. Do like them a lot. Yeah, do like them a lot. Now I've got the crunchy now. The crunchy, yes, the crunchy one, honeycomb basically, covered in chocolate. So it's literally just a block of honeycomb covered in chocolate, or a bar of honeycomb. It's not bad actually. I mean, I think it's quite nice to chew and eat and things like that. I think I kind of prefer ones where it's a bit more those, what's it, Cocoa Rocks, what are they called? Those Crunchy Rocks, I think it was. They were very yeah. They were. Was it? There was one of them was a bit stupid where it had like cereal pieces in rather than crunchy pieces, which is a bit disappointing. But there's one, let's say, bag of crunchy did off. Was it a block of crunchy? It was a block actually. I think it was the block. It wasn't the Crunchy Rocks, whatever they were called. They were the bad ones where which had cornflakes and cereal pieces in, and just totally missed the point of what having the crunchy box of chocolate would have been about. But they did like an actual dairy milk block of dairy milk with crunchy in, and that was very nice. I think. I prefer that than this. I think this one's just got a bit too. Well, I think so anyway. This one's got a bit too much honeycomb in. I think it's not too bad. I'm not against that, but I think it just might be a bit too much really. Maybe needs a couple of layers or something, or something like that. So yeah, but I do still like it. But I think it's probably a B. That one. I think. Yeah, a bit of a B. That one. Yeah. Yeah, I think a B. Okay, the Curly Wurly. So quite a long one, maybe about 9 inches long or something. I'm sure it used to be longer, but yeah, quite a long chocolate bar, the Curly Wurly. You can get mini ones. Interesting one, nice one. But as I say, another one a bit like the Chomps really and stuff like that. Just just a bit a bit mundane, if you know what I mean. A bit yeah, I'm sure it's like again another one that was like 15p when I was younger or something like that, and now it's about 30 or something. Yeah, it's okay, but I think it's not really. It's a chewy kind of. It's basically very similar to a Chomp, but just slightly different presentation, if you know what I mean. So I think it's pretty much the same thing. Yeah, I'd say it's a D really. There's not much difference between that and a Chomp, other than the fact that the Curly Wurly's got like a lattice structure to it, and the Chomp is like just a flat bar. But let's see, if you pack all the chocolate down, it's probably the same size as as a Chomp, you know. So yeah, a bit rubbish that really. Right, we've got dairy milk, fruit and nut now. Yeah, dairy milk, fruit and nuts. Yes. So okay, right. I just had a look online then. Trust the internet. It's almonds and yeah, it says almonds and delicious dried grapes. I assume it's probably raisins or sultanas or something. I know it's currants as well, but I don't know if there's a difference between the fruit. I think currants might be peaches or something like that. I'm not sure. But anyway, dried grapes. It says there you go. And chopped almonds. So a bit better. Chopped almonds and dried grapes. You know, I probably would prefer this one if I had it again than I used to have. Because I was just never into nuts and things back in the day. You know. Not too bad. I think the gist of it is I think I probably wouldn't mind it too much now. It's not too dissimilar to the Cadbury Picnic really, which wasn't too bad actually. I didn't mind it when I reviewed that. But I think probably this dairy milk, yeah, fruit and nut. I don't know. It's never appealed to me really. I know they changed it, didn't they? Not too long as well. They took out, I think the fruit, you know, they put in sultanas, I think, or whatever, rather than raisins because raisins were more expensive. I think that was another cutback that Cadbury have done, which is a bit of a shame. But as I say, well, I'm sure people liked it. I mean, for me, I'm not too bothered, I guess. But yeah, so not too bad, not too bad. I think it's, but you know, one. If I think if I had it again, I'd probably enjoy more than I remember doing. But I think for me, yeah, I don't know. It's not really one for me. I think it's probably, it could be a D, but I think yeah. I think I'm going to put it in the D rank because I think it's just, I think I would just prefer to have just a regular dairy milk rather than that, if you know what I mean. So I just don't think I'd ever really buy it, you know. Yeah, interesting one though. Yeah, I guess through these actually, I thought it would be about an hour or something. We're not doing too bad. It's getting there actually, about 40 minutes, so not bad at all. That just goes to show, doesn't it? Honestly, but yeah. Damn me, images adding that other one. It took a while last time. Maybe it's just more to say on it really, but yeah, don't know. But anyway, the Cabbage fudge, yeah. So it's another one of those, another cheap one. I'd say there's the fudge, the curly whirly, and the chomp. They're the kind of free, and also there's Fredo bars. They're the kind of ones that's sort of aimed at kids. I guess the Milky Buttons as well, but Milky Buttons. I guess the Cadbury Buttons as well, but I guess they're kind of, I don't know. Yeah, I think they're ones that transcend. And people actually just enjoy them as well as adults, you know. Although you probably would get the bigger packs for those. Yeah, but the fudge basically does make an appearance in Cadbury's Heroes. It's also kind of in Cadbury's Roses. There's a sort of like country fudge, and it's a slightly different recipe. It's not too bad. It's not bad. It's better than you think it would be based on memories and everything. But it's just so boring and stuff like that. I just don't think I can really give it that high rating. I just would never buy it. You'd only buy it as a kid with not much money. I don't think you'd ever really go out of it. I've never heard of anyone loving these bars. I mean, it doesn't really taste like proper fudge either. It's not that sweet. Yeah, so it's all right, but it's not. Yeah, I think it's still a D. That one. It's still a D. Yeah, so it goes with the others. Yeah, so we come to something that's not too dissimilar to, I guess you'd say the dairy milk fruit and nut really, which I did put in the D list. You know. Yeah, I think I was tempted to put it in the C list, but the reason I didn't was because of the picnic, and I think the picnic is basically a better version of that really. I didn't think I'd like it, but I did recently taste, review it actually on the Picnic Bites version as well, and it was nice. It was actually a better thing. It was really well distributed. I think you had like one raisin or sultana or whatever it was per segment pretty much, so you don't have too many of them. And it just adds. You can't really taste it. It just adds a bit of a sort of. Well, you can, but you can't really taste it for what it is. It just adds a bit of tartness to each segment basically. And it's really well distributed, really well thought out product, and the peanuts are not too bad in it as well. It just works better than you'd think. It's not one I'd go to every time at all really, just because I'm not a massive peanut fan. I'm not a massive raisin fan, this and or sultana or whatever it is. But this one, yeah, I think it does work, you know. So I think, you know, I'll say some people are going to really like this because of that factor thing, but for me, I'd say just because it's got peanuts in and this and the other, it's going to be a C for me. But it's still yeah, it's still a nice one. It's just, I don't know, it just doesn't do it for me. The ingredients just don't do it for me, you know. But C's not too bad, I don't think. It's not one I dislike, you know. Yeah, so there we go. And last but not least, Cabbage Dark Chocolate, Cadbury Bourneville. Yeah, so you notice there's no Cadbury White here, and again, that's because it's in a bigger bar. It comes in the big block versions. You don't get it in the smaller bars. To be honest with you, didn't really remember seeing Cadbury's Bourneville in this version either, but it does exist, I think. So, but normally you do see it in the bigger bar. So this one might be a bit of a cheat. It might not really belong here, but it is more of a block one. It could be that these bars come with you know, the bigger sort of, I don't know, like an Easter egg or whatever. But yes, I'm not sure. So, you know, there might be some, as I say, little bits that kind of don't quite work out as well. So maybe this one is more of a block bar and you can't really get it in this smaller version. Not too sure. But we'll go with it being here for now. He said it was on Wikipedia, I think, and I don't know, I was able to find a small, you know, a bar-sized version of it. So who knows? But yeah, so basically, Cabbage dark chocolate. Now it's not a very strong dark chocolate. Yeah, I think Andrew Winton says like 36%. Something. It's not a very strong one at all. But so it's not very rich. It's not very dry. It's a nice combination. Actually, it's quite thick as well. So you do get a bit more bang for your buck as far as the chocolate taste is concerned, because it's not quite as weak as you'd think, because it's quite thicker. It's actually not too bad. And I did go through a stage of just having dark chocolate and just eating lots of Bourneville. Don't know why that was really. It must have been about 13 years ago or something like that. I was just doing it, you know. I just remember buying some dark chocolate. It's quite indulging and getting into it, you know. Yeah. So yeah, I think for me this one, it's definitely not an S or an A. I don't think. I think it's above the bit a C, so I think it's going to be a B. I think this one, yeah, it's not too bad. It's just sort of, it's nice what it is, and I enjoy having it every now and again, and it does what it does pretty well. That's it. It's not overly rich. It's not, you know, it's not too dry. It's a nice dark chocolate, and it's quite thick blocks as well, which I think adds to the you know, the cocoa strength of it or whatever. I think it makes it taste like it's more cocoa than it is, basically, because it's quite a thick bar. Yeah. But yeah, there we go. So there we are, Cadbury's tier list. Look at that. So we've done it all. Yes, we tiered all. Was it all 24 or something? Was it 6, 10, 15, 20, 23? I think I've got there. But there we go. Yes, not too bad there. I think I did change around on the flake in the end, but I think that was the right choice. The Whisper, the flake, and a double deck. I think they are the ones that just do it for me a bit more than the rest of them. There's just something a bit special about them. But the it's relatively closely followed behind by some of them, you know, especially the Twirls and the Whisper. They're down for what it is, you know. I mean, you could argue that could be a B, but I don't know, there's something a bit about it that just does it for me. You know, Denmark caramel as well, got lovely caramel in it. So yeah, not too bad at all, those. The mid tier, the Bs are sort of the ones that are not bad actually, and you do have them, you know, but generally the ones you don't tend to have as much, even though they are nice. You just tend to have the ones above them, basically. The ones above them you can kind of interchange. Sometimes you will go for a Whisper over a flake or whatever. But I think generally the ones in the B tier for me are ones I would generally only go for if I specifically want that taste. Like if I specifically want, you know, dark chocolate or honeycomb or something like that. Or just happen to sort of get some buttons as well as something else, if you know what I mean. I think the Boost and the Marvelous Creations are okay. You know, but there you go. Yeah, they're not, you know, they're unique, if you know what I mean. So they do what they do. So that's pretty much that tier. Other than the buttons, they are kind of like a unique layer of products that just do something a bit different than the rest, but aren't necessarily my favourite bars, if you know what I mean. Just the taste isn't quite there, but are really nice. Yeah. I got the C list. These are kind of like the mundane ones, I think you'd say for me. Star Bar and Picnic, not too bad. I just don't think I did like the Picnic and I did rate it quite highly. I just think there's some, you know, I think I'd just rather get like not in Cadbury's case, obviously, because I don't do it, but a toffee crisp or something, or even a double decker. I just think that kind of gives me that same feeling, you know, same sort of scratches the same itch or whatever you'd say, you know. I think maybe, sort of. Yeah, I don't know. I think other bars as well, you know, I prefer to have them. I think, as I say, a toffee crisp or something, I think is the one. I'd rather have over a Picnic, if you know what I mean. But, yeah. It's not too bad. They're not too bad, those ones. They're just not, you know, the Star Bar, again, just a boost, but with peanuts, but I'm not a big fan of peanuts, you know. As I say, the Fredo bars are nice. They're just very small versions of the bars, really. They're not sort of like little mini versions of stuff, so they're okay. But yeah, the bottom list of ones are very sort of mundane, but none of them are really horrible. I think that maybe the whole nut is one I'm not a big fan of. And as I say, the Oreo one as well is just really boring, terrible, and done to death, and just doesn't work. Doesn't taste like Oreo. It's not a nice cream. I'm just really not a fan of those at all. But the rest of them, the Chomp, the Curly Whale, and the Fudge, they're just very mundane, boring, sort of cheap kids products, you know, more so than the Freddos. I'm just not a big fan of those, really. Yeah, and they're okay, but rarely would have them over anything else, really. So while those are edible, I just would rarely have them over anything else. I think the Dairy Milk Oreo is the worst one there. Whole nut maybe as well, slightly, because it's just whole nuts in. It's just too much for me. I'm not a big fan of those whole nuts. Yeah, the Fruits and Nut one, it's not bad, the Fruits and Nut. It's almost could go up a level, but I think it's just a bit, you know, yeah. I think it's probably about right in there, really. But it's close because it's not too far behind the picnic. I just don't know. It's just one as well. I think I just rather always get a dairy milk or a Marvelous Creations one or Dairy Milk Cow. Any of the others really. It just doesn't. The picnic one I think does have something more about it. You know, it's a bit more toffee crisp like. Was the Dairy Milk almond and fruit and nut one basically. Yeah, I don't know. Just a bit too. Yeah, a bit too far removed, I think. Yeah, even though it's in Dairy Milk chocolate, it's in blocks, but I don't know. Something I'm just not a fan of really. Yeah, there you go. Controversial, probably contradicted myself there, as I say, but there we go. Right, guys, yeah, I hope you enjoyed that one. Yeah, relatively succinct, I think, this time. What do we get? About, not sure, about 40 minutes maybe, something like that. I'm not too sure. But yeah, not too bad. I predicted a bit over that, didn't I? But there we go. Yeah. So hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what you think as well, whether I've tiered them right, whether you agree with me or not. I think some people would definitely put some of the nutty ones further up. I know if you're a fan of those, then clearly you would do. Whispers one that could be a bit higher up in the twirls maybe, and possibly the double decker could be down on some people's lists, I think. Yeah, the other ones, the middle tier, I don't know. I think they might be very similar. I don't think anyone would put them up to the S rank. I'm not sure. So there might be some movement between S and A. There might be just, as I say, might just move down. A and B might move around for some, and B and C maybe, and C and D perhaps as well. I'm not sure, but because some of them just could go straight up. I'd say the nutty ones, the fruit and nuts. Some people might just love that one. And the picnic ones, well, maybe. But I think generally, yeah, it might just interchange the tiers slightly. But for me, I think that's not bad. I'm quite happy with that one. I think. I'd say it could have been different. Could have been, one of those where, on another day I could have put the Whisper really high or something like that, or the Twirls or whatever. But I don't know. I think I'm happy with that. I think it does encapsulate just how I feel about Cabbage chocolate man, which ones are the best and which ones I like to go for, stuff like that. So and ones that I sort of don't mind going for, but don't often pick them because there's other ones I'd rather get. So it's only if I've already got one of those and I think, oh, I want something else, So that's probably when I'd get something like the buttons or the boost or Bourneville or something like that, the crunchy. Maybe Marvelous Creations, maybe not quite so much because it is a bit exciting, but so you might get that over other things. But I don't know. I think I'd probably prefer one of the other chocolates over that really generally, and then some might just get it as a backup, So there we go. Yeah. But yeah, let me know what you think. Hopefully you've already been doing in the live chat. If you're not watching it live, then leave a comment off me. Let me know what you think as well and what your tiers would be. Hopefully you agreed with it, but if not, hopefully I wasn't too far out. But yeah, do let me know your tiers. Which ones you think are the best, which are the worst, of course. Also the middling ones, I guess. It would be great to hear from you, truly would. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care, have a great day, and I'll see you next premiere or the next review or the next whatever. For the live one, actually. I think it's probably a Friday this one comes out, so probably the live review tomorrow. So yeah, I shall see you then. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Bye for now. Great chatting to you, I'm sure. See you later. Bye.